I start recording right now. Okay.
So I'll rewind. So yeah, no, I'm from Miami, Florida. I grew up in the suburbs, and I think everything just comes down to design. Like, how can we really intentionally design the way things are? You know, it's like, think about, you know, you go to different cities and different places around the world and just think about how random it all is, just how random the cities are, how random the suburbs are, how random the agriculture is. There hasn't been like real kind of holistic design. And so I came to Costa Rica in 1995 on vacation, I'll repeat. And I witnessed a playground full of indigenous children get sprayed by a Chiquita banana crop duster. And it was like literally pulling the emergency brake on my life. And it was really just being witness to such terrible design. You know, how can we be designing things so terribly and so unfairly and so bad for the ecosystems and so bad for everyone? Even the people at the top, even the owners and the shareholders in the corporation, it's like everyone's losing. So I just really started thinking, can we design things better? Can we design, physically design things so that community could thrive and so ecosystems could thrive and everything could just be more healthy? And so that's what I've been working on for the past 25 years. Punta Mona, as you mentioned, Nika, is our retreat center on the Caribbean side. And it's kind of a permaculture education example of another way to design. And not only physically design, like the way we build and the way we grow food and the way we, you know, get water and electricity, but also the way that we socially and economically design things. You know, it's like really trying to see if we could do things differently. And from that, I started where I am now, which is called La Ecovilla. And La Ecovilla is a community. It's really an ecological neighborhood. It's not a intentional community, which the term really means like a group came together and started it. My dad and I raised a fund, bought the land, put together a team, developed it extremely ecologically. The roads are made from recycled plastic. All the septic goes into a methane digester. The water's incredible. We planted all the roadsides with fruit trees, and all the common areas are orchards and huge gardens. And every Saturday we get big baskets of food. That's kind of like what our HOA dues pay for. It's just big farming, and we get a lot of food, and it's incredible. The food production, in particular, perennial food production from trees. And so, yeah, it's been a really great example. 2 years ago, we extended and we bought the 70 hectares or 170 acres next door. And that's turning into 120 more lots. And it's really turning into a town. I was walking, I just came from there, and I'm actually going back after this call. It's just up the road from here, and it's so incredible. And it's all based around food and water and ecosystem restoration. And it's interesting because as developers, as we develop, typically developers are destroying. And it's like synonymous with like, you develop, you destroy. In this case, where we develop, if you look at Google Maps where we are right now, it's a very big development. There's lots of houses, but it's the greenest island in the area because it's all intermixed with fruit trees. And so I think it's a whole other paradigm. I think this COVID and this, reality of what we're living right now is a extreme opportunity. The word actually crisis in Japanese is synonymous with opportunity. So we really have such an opportunity to really be a part of this global redesign on a macro and even on a micro, just really thinking about our own lives and our own days and our own, where we're putting our energy and how can we shift it to be, part of something more, more communal. It's like we were trained to just worry about ourselves and our family. That was just kind of like our training. And it feels like we have a real opportunity to reset that and unlearn those old paradigm ways of doing things. Yeah.
we saw on the same page here, like all people I'm talking with last year probably, there are more and more visions like this. People finally start getting it that this is the way to go. This whole thing, it just doesn't work, and it's so
Yeah.
unproductive, it's so inefficient. So why we should continue doing it this way? We have everything. We have all the resources to just start to come together and just build paradise on earth just by ourselves, right? But
I mean, it's in one sense, yes. In other ways, it's really hard. It's all really hard. Even
no,
what
of
what
course.
we're doing is really hard. It was hard to raise the money to do it, so I read what you wrote about wanting to do it for homeless people, and I'm being non-politically correct. Is that maybe the wrong way to say that? Is there another way to say it now? People without homes.
It's however you say, we're trying to solve the problem. We're not trying to hide behind different names, so it's all good. People don't have homes.
Oh, I've been in the jungle. I've been in the jungle so long, so I'm like super politically incorrect often. So I'm always just like trying to tiptoe. Everybody's so sensitive these days. You got to be really careful what you
I
say.
know what you're saying. I know.
Some people
Especially
say
as you're recording it. What's that?
some people say unhoused, but I'm kind of with Nika. We can get so tangled up and distracted in all the vocabulary.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah. I mean, it's like ideal. I'm in the same boat. Like my dream was to do this for like Costa Rican farm people, and not, white San Jose folk and foreigners, But the reality is to do it and do it well is expensive, and to do it and do it well, and also raise the money to do it. Like if I had a trust fund and I could do it, it would be a lot more affordable. But the reality is like all of our investors to get involved needed a big return, and the bigger return they need, the more expensive things become. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not that expensive. Some of the lots start at $50,000. So it's not that expensive. But your average, Costa Rican that lives right around here couldn't afford $50,000
No, of course.
to buy just the lot.
But that's why it's important to come together globally, like those who have opportunities to help and those who need help, to just become this global community, And there are a lot of people who want to help.
Yeah.
They just don't. They just don't. There are different reasons, of course, but some of them just don't trust where their money goes, and if they will see the concept that actually is able to help not only homeless, not only just some separate problem, but all together, like regenerative agriculture and permaculture principles is the only way to go to stop climate change, to prevent food crisis, to prevent water crisis. A lot of things could be solved just with taking the different directions now and coming together globally in order to do so. Not just one particular organization some person would do this by themselves, but we need to come together and just do it all together with all our resources. Otherwise, we're doomed.
Yeah, I mean, I guess something else coming up for me hearing you say that is you also got to be careful you don't get too many cooks in the kitchen trying to make decisions. My experience doing this down here, my experience has been the more people you try to get in the room to try to agree, the harder it is to accomplish anything because everybody's just arguing and wants their thing. I find what has really worked, and it sounds, sometimes it sounds funny, but it's like to put together a really good team and to execute something and then invite people in to be a part of it. That's what we're doing with Alegría, and that's what we did here at Ecovia, and it really works. We don't sit around and process. We literally have one meeting a year to like tweak the budget, the HOA, but like we don't have to sit around and decide what tile we're going to use in the common buildings because it was already done, and we made our best decisions that we could. And if you liked it and you wanted to be a part of it, it's great. We want people to be a part of this, but if it's not for you, then go find something else or do your own thing. But I think my advice would be to anyone that's, I talk to so many people, yeah, we want to start a community. the first thing I would say is, are you sure you want to start a community? There's so many communities that are existing that need your support and your energy. And then on the other hand is, I would just be really cautious on the whole decision-making process, because it's what breaks things down. There's some great ideas and great visions and awesome land and awesome everything. And then you get a group of people in the room together trying to make a decision, and it destroys and brings down the whole project.
100%. I know exactly what you're talking about. And that's why, for example, in the home, we're so careful with the team. Like all the team that we have is just a team of angels, And then all the people who are coming, who are joining, they just want to support. It's not about making decisions. It's not about taking credit for something. It's about providing support to the idea that will be useful. This little thing.
Right, but then you have to also just be really cautious, like who's putting up the money, and usually when people put up money, they're pretty attached to the decisions that get made with that money. I mean, I'm not saying that at all about what you guys in your groups, I don't really know anything about it, but I have so much experience with raising money and dealing with people and their money. It's a complicated reality. It's like literally I've sat in the room with, whole rooms of billionaires that all are in agreement, all want to see it happen. And see it happen, that it variable, like how can we hone on what that is and who gets credit and who gets their back patted and where does that, it's like, it's a complicated game.
But what do you think if it will not be about just billionaires, but if it will be about community? Community have resources. Community can come together just to help without asking for any credits. And even foundations, if they support something, they not necessarily need credits, but a lot of billionaires, I can imagine, they need this. That's why we need people to understand this concept, the need of this.
Even foundations, they have, it's not about credit, but it's their strings. Nothing's free, it's like even foundations, there's like, they have their agenda. Everyone has an agenda. And I'm not trying to be negative, or be skeptical. I'm just sharing my experience with humanity, and for me, it's all about the plants. I haven't told you guys, but I'm absolutely obsessed with ethnobotany and useful plants, tropical plants. I've been traveling the world for the past 25 years collecting plants, like obsessively. And at Punta Mona, we have one of the largest collections of useful plants on earth. And I love collecting them, and I love spreading it, and I love it all. So for me, that's really been my drive, is the plants. And a lot of these like real estate deals, I end up like raising millions of dollars and buying all this acreage, because in the end, I just want to plant fruit trees.
Yeah, that's how it can work. Only if you're passionate about what you're doing, not just.
Yeah. No, but that's my agenda. It's like everybody's got an agenda. Like my agenda is I want to change the world through good design. But like what really feeds me and what really drives me is planting many, many fruit trees and caring for them and then feeding them. I just came from my yard with just a basket of goodies. Should we go look at them? I only have a few more minutes. You guys want to meet some cool foods?
Yeah. May I also ask
you? Is that interesting?
I have 2 questions for you that I'm really curious.
Yeah, we don't need to do the foods. I only have a couple more minutes, so I'd rather answer your question. I do have some cool fruits.
We can do both. If you want.
I only have a few more minutes because I have another call at like 12:30, and
okay.
And yeah.
Tell me, please, are you fully?
But I want to answer your question.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you, Steven. Are you fully off grid now? Like, are you using any city facilities, or are you like fully on self-sufficient?
So Punta Mona is completely off grid. It always has been, and it always will be. You get there by boat, or it's about a 2-hour hike through the jungle to get there, or a 25-minute boat ride, and it's 100% solar. and our water's all from right there. Here at Ecovia, so Costa Rica is one of the only countries in the world that's 100% renewable energy. Of course, it has its cost. You know, it's got, you know, rivers have been dammed, and but Costa Rica's on the grid. Our communities are on the grid. Most of the houses have tie-in solar to the grid. Our water comes from on property. We have a road to here, so like I don't know which grid you're talking about, but so the electrical grid we're on, the water grid we're not, the road grid we have fiber optic internet, which allows me to have this Zoom call so clear.
And
yeah.
how about you don't use chemicals at all, right? Like no chemicals, nothing.
No, I mean I use some like I fumigate my house sometimes. Like I had like this infestation of beetles. I'm not going to pretend to be like this holier than now. I don't use agricultural chemicals. I don't use fertilizer. I have used chemicals against the leafcutter ants, which is one of our big pests that plague agriculture. I'm very careful, and I do it only in certain areas, but I can't lie.
Okay,
but
good.
Yeah.
And also, I'm really curious about Envision Festival. But maybe if you have time, I would love to hear how you came up with this. Maybe how did it start? Because we are thinking to do something like this to start the home, actually, to start this farm in LA.
Cool.
Yeah.
Envision started, a bunch of us. We're all burners. We've all been going to Burning Man for a long time. I've been 16 of the last 18 years to Burning Man. And we just, you know, it's like every year I try to bring a couple of my Costa Rican friends to Burning Man. And then I was like, wait a minute, we can't bring all the Costa Ricans to Burning Man, but maybe we can bring a little Burning Man to Costa Rica. And so that was kind of the impetus. I had been in event production already at Punta Mona. We've been doing events, and Punta Mona is such a hard place to do things that it forced me to be really good at doing things, because it's such a hard location from being off the grid to the no road, you know, to just the climate. So I was like, I became good at just executing on production. Everything seemed easy, and still to this day, like, you know, for me to this day, everything seems easy because Punta Mona was always so hard. And so that's kind of how it started. It was good timing, you know. It's like the people are ready for a tropical kind of transformational festival. And yeah, it was like, it happened right before this. Like it literally it ended February 23rd. We had 10,000 people and in the jungle here. And it was profound, and we'll probably cancel next year, and I'm fine with it. Oh yeah, everything's canceled.
No way, seriously, next year? It's like, it's so much time.
It's not that far away. I mean, I'm also involved in the eclipse gathering in Argentina, which is for the eclipse in December, and it's about to, I mean, it's like these countries are on lockdown. You think they're going to go from lockdown to like allowing 20,000 foreigners or 10,000 foreigners to gather together? I don't think so. Maybe, I mean, but you know, there's so much prep that goes in, and that, I don't know. I'm not afraid of it, but it's something, and I recommend it. I would stay a lot smaller than that. I think it's like energetically, it takes so much that I think keeping gatherings for under 1,000, you know, and doing them more often, like what we're trying to do. So my bigger project now, it's called 1001, and it incorporates Alegría and incorporates Ecovia, but we're trying to buy 1,001 hectares. It's the motto is redesigning the earth 1,001 hectares at a time, and it's massive reforestation and massive food forests and regenerative agriculture, and you know, over 1,000 homes, and a kind of an urban space, and also an event space where we can host 1,000 people 5 days a month.
No.
So I like doing smaller gatherings more often as opposed to one big, you know, banging big event one time. I think it's better to spread it out. I think energetically, like, everyone's just so dead at the end of Envision. Everyone that works for us, everyone that puts it on, it's such a hard task. that, I mean, it's even hard for the attendees because it's so much fun. So I can only imagine, you know, you can imagine like for the people that we're also out trying to have fun, but it's just such a massive undertaking.
Yeah, I can imagine. I can imagine. But
Yeah.
so what do you say if, like, would this even 1,001 hectare festival, if people would go, like, imagine Burning Man, but instead of building temporary city, people would build like permanent farms and build some kind of eco construction and receive workshops during building this stuff, and those constructions will serve as a place to stay for those who are unhoused now. So that's what we are trying to set with the home.
Where are you guys hoping to do it here? I'm gonna just put in my chat. You guys should check out
Near LA, 2 hours from LA, it's San Diego County.
Oh really? I like that area.
Yeah, that's great for farming.
I mean, good luck with the permitting and stuff for sure. That's
that will be a very complicated part.
Yeah, I mean, I would actually recommend not doing it there. I mean, unless you can find some property that already is like some old church like camp or something that already has lots of structures, you end up spending all your energy just trying to navigate the bureaucracy.
Yeah, let's see. We will try to come up with something. We now have 300 acres farm to develop. So let's see, maybe.
Yeah, no, I mean, my sister for years was trying to do something outside of San Francisco in Sonoma, and they ended just wasting so much money and energy and time, and just for the stupidest things of bureaucracy.
But at
you know, it's just
the problem there with unhoused population, with all this stuff is so ridiculous. So I feel like if we will manage actually to do it there, then it will be so easy to set it in other places. So that's the kind of the goal too.
Yeah, no, I pray for you. I mean, it's hard to do anywhere, even when the government is like inviting you, you know?
Yeah, I know.
The US is a freaking hard place.
I know. You received a question here. What are the regulations regarding building dwellings in Costa Rica, and other limits on how much you can build on the land?
Yeah, I mean, it's still complicated. It still took us 2 years to get Alegria's permit team, and it was still complicated, but it was doable. We just got 120 lots, you know, permitted.
Whoa.
In 2 years. Maybe that's not so long, you know. For me down here, we did it a lot faster at Alegría, which was at Ecovilla, which was 45 lots. We did it a lot faster. Yeah, I mean, Costa Rica is welcoming this, you know, so it's a lot better, and they should be. I mean, what we're doing is right. What we're doing is good. Like everything that we're trying to do is we're trying to make the land better. We're trying to get better jobs for the workers. We're trying to, you know, do so many good things, you know, and it still was hard, you know.
Yeah.
You know, even though like the hardest part is like the environmental regulations, and we're like the most environmental project, yet it's still complicated.
Yeah, I can imagine. But thank you, Steven, so much for sharing all this stuff. Hopefully, we will be able to implement our vision collectively on the global scale. It should go in these bureaucratic cities, in these most bureaucratic places. That's where it just should be there.
Yeah, and if not, you can all just come down here. We're ready for you.
Love you, Steven. Thank you so much.
Yeah, so good to see you, Nika. Great to meet you guys.
Thank you, Steven. Have a beautiful day.
Anna.
Thank you.
Thanks for sure.
Yeah.
Pura vida.
Pura vida. And thank you guys for coming as well. Thank you for your interest. Oh, hey, Nicholas. We didn't meet.
Sorry, I was so late. I didn't realize I didn't see it on the chat until now. It's a shame I missed it.
Yeah. But we're already wrapping it up. Thank you for showing up. And our next session gonna be Monday. So hope to see you there. Do you want to say?
Is there somewhere where I can follow the updates? You guys have a group or page or something?
We have WhatsApp group chat, but maybe just because we know each other, maybe you want to introduce yourself just so we know you.
Yeah, totally. I got here through LA Magic link that you posted. I'm Nico. I am an experienced designer and a chef, and I am working on setting up an intentional community. We still don't know where. Likely will be Costa Rica, but we're still deciding. It's gonna be like a 30 acres, around 150 to 100 people, land with several businesses around it. And I've been doing a lot of research and trying to compile a lot of information and trying to share it. So I'm also like trying to spot who else is doing. My feeling is that there's a lot of us doing the same work, and the more we coordinate, the easier it gets for everybody. So that's why I asked. So,
exactly. Yeah, that's the idea. We need to all come together and just share our vision, share our resources, knowledge, and that's how we can make it happen. Otherwise, all these conglomerates who are actually not excited about this whole idea, they are joining together, they are coming together, and they are making these collaborations. So if we are on our side will not do this, that will not work. I'm so positive today, guys. No, we're doomed. But Nicholas, I'm sharing the link to the home chat, and give me a second. And here you can follow. Oh, what? Don't look at this. I'm retarded. Wait a second. Home is here. This link. Okay.
okay, cool. Yeah, I'll join. This to I'm trying to put together kind of compile our resources and have them on a Google Drive and a few links. And as soon as I can like clear a few of the documents that can be shared, everything else, I'll try to just post it in every group of people who are working on this. And, also try to compile all the groups so if people wanna join different ones.
100%. So let's stay in touch, and hope to see you Monday. And Monday we can get deeper into this. We have like some space for more space for introduction, for proper introduction and connection. But for now we kind of done. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you, Nika, for doing this, for getting us all together. Love you.
Thank
Beautiful
you.
Day, guys.
Спасибо.
Спасибо.